done, so the wait is over. I have with me Miss Annie Singh, who is more than a teacher, no less than a celebrity. And we know that in this series where we'll be meeting different English teachers who will be guiding you, who will be mentoring you, and who will be telling you different ways to be successful in your life, not only in English as a subject, but overall. So we have with us Ma'am Annie Singh, and you'll be glad to know that Ma'am Annie is a big inspiration for me as well. Though I have been teaching you for some time, but you will be happy to know that I am myself a learner in front of her. I have learned so many things from her, and she is a great inspiration. If we talk about the career of Ma'am Annie Singh, who doesn't know her in Dehradun, not only as an English teacher, but a very famous and certified psychologist also. Ma'am Annie Singh has recently been retired from CJM, but it is just a short break, not even a break. She keeps herself very busy, and she is involved with many other organizations. So today we are going to have a talk with Ma'am Annie, and welcome, ma'am. Really, it's a great pleasure, and I would call it a privilege also to have you on my channel, that is the English Express. And now it's going to be our channel.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Vanita, for inviting me for your talk show today. And hello to all the viewers. And I'm very excited about this. And as ma'am said, I have about 25 years of teaching experience of both English and psychology. And I am actually, I would call it moving on from teaching to administration and counseling on a larger scale, because there's a lot of demand for workshops and seminars, etc. And many students require, this kind of guidance and counseling in their lives at different positions of their life. So therefore, I thought that let me make this into a full-time, work for me and move on from teaching. But yes, I will be connected with my subjects because teaching is a passion and I love it so much.
Yeah, ma'am, we know about your teaching career, that you have been activity coordinator also and counselor at Doon, Cambridge. Then at CJM, you had been head of not only English department, but psychology department as well. You were heading 2 departments in that school. You have worked with Asian school also, because you were visiting counselor there. You were there at Unison World School as well.
7 years I've done Unison World School.
Yeah. So in this long span of time, you were interacting with students in different areas, sometimes as a teacher, sometimes as a counselor. So what do you think, what brought you in this field of teaching? First of all, I would like to ask that, because teaching, to be honest, is an option which children these days, they find it as the last option for them.
Yes.
So I would like to know that how you came into teaching.
Yeah. See, actually, initially also as a child, I used to really love, correcting books and putting my signatures. That was a hobby with me. And then later on, in school years in between, I thought of the stage, because I was good with dance and dramatics, etc. But then after marriage, when I came to Dehradun, there was a lot of opportunities for teachers, and there were a lot of good schools. And then I first began, I think, with mentoring my own children, actually. Because I took up the profession as a profession after, both my children who were born had grown up.
And sorry to interrupt, but every mother is a teacher in a one way or the
of course, because we are teaching so many things, the habits, the culture, the way of life, things, how to deal with people. So it's not just about education. So it is there again that this love for teaching was revived. And when my children, I felt, were school going age, and I could give time, to my own passion, which has again, resurfaced, I went back to teaching. And I joined first Doon, Cambridge as the coordinator. In fact, I introduced these summer classes in Dehradun, which was one of the first things then. The swimming classes and horse riding, English conversation. It was a very new concept for this town. So I'm talking about, say 25, 26 years back.
Yes.
And Ma'am Chabra, the principal there, she will, if she sees this channel, she will agree with me. Thereafter, we had every school year offering these summer classes, summer camps, and it was a big success.
So we can say that you understood the need
pulse.
of extracurricular,
Yes.
at that time,
At that
nobody
point,
was able to understand.
Nobody was able to understand. They thought teaching and learning is all that children need to do, but I always felt that children need extracurricular activities as well.
Of course.
And that's how it developed with CJM after 2 years when I joined the convent also. Since then, I was heading the debates department. And I'm very proud to say it was my privilege to lead my team even at the national level, not just inter-school. We've done very well, but even national level, we stood second best speaker at Frank Anthony.
Oh,
yes,
that's great. Frank Anthony is a very prestigious debate.
It is a very prestigious from the council. For the council.
Yes.
So that is something. These are the things I will remember, which I can say tangent things which I have done for my children there. Yes.
No, that's why we are always learning from you, ma'am.
Not at all.
Ma'am, I can see many awards, honors and prizes, here, and I'm much fascinated. Can you please tell me something about them?
I just feel that God has been kind, and that's it. And I've just done what I could, very sincerely. So this one is from Divya Himalaya Nari Shakti. This is also basically women empowerment. I got it on Women's Day, the 8th of March, a couple of years back, 2020. And this one was by Amar Ujala, called the Prathama Awards. This is also a salute to womanhood, women who have made a mark in the society and inspired the other women. Then this was the Pearls of Nation Award, which was given as a mental health expert, a field of mental health and wellness. And then recently, very surprisingly, I got this Uttarakhandi Achievers Award just in 22. And I was very lucky when Embellished Talent Management called up and said we would like to award you amongst the women, again in the field of mental health. And of course, these are, various other places I've been going as a chief guest for my debates. And I also do the PDP classes, like, personality development, soft skills. So I have been heading, you can say, Miss Uttarakhand group of contestants. So I do grooming sessions with them. So this has been since maybe 2014-15, quite a few years. I'm very attached to Sinmit Communications.
That's great.
Yeah, so some of these have come from there only. And then of course, I'm working with Guru Nanak Academy. So there also have been awarded. They had their 50-year celebration last year, so I was entirely in charge of that.
Yeah, I heard that you are associated with Guru Nanak. Can you please give us an insight about it?
Yes. Actually, I have taken up there now full time as a consultant. This is the academics as well as the co-curricular activities.
All right.
So, right from planning the activity calendar for the year, then the schedule, and especially English, right from KG, I can say playgroup to 12th. I decided to coordinate.
In a way, you are into administration.
I'm into administration now.
Right.
Yes, but I have kept 2 classes for myself, one of English and one of psychology.
Right.
Because, that's the only way you be with the children.
Yes.
Otherwise, sitting behind, the closed doors and 4 walls.
It's not something which is meant for you.
No, I need people around. I'm a people's person.
Yeah.
Right. That's true.
Ma'am, we know your qualification in psychology and you are a certified psychologist. How do you think that being a psychologist helped you in teaching English as well? Means how do you relate these two things?
These two subjects.
Yeah.
Right. Now, Vinita, this question has been often asked, and surprisingly, I think once you teach, you will realize that psychology, for me, is the same as literature. Especially literature, because see, every poet, author, writer, he's basically exposing his own experiences, feelings, emotions, right? And especially children of class 11, 12, if you are viewing the channel, when we tell you to do a character analysis, of the author or the characters of the story, or we ask you to do a critical appreciation, it is nothing but getting into the psyche of those characters. Right. You take, you have these stories like we did Catherine Mansfield's story, which was, yes, the story of an hour. So there we had, Mrs. Mallard and all the experiences that she was thinking, whatever was going on in her mind was being expressed by the writer. So you got to know that her mind was so confused between bold thoughts and those, the urges and what society is taboo for the society. Right. We have Kamla Das like this amongst the Indian poets. She also spoke of, her own desires, which are taboo, right? And therefore, I feel it's very connected to psychoanalysis because we talk of our conscious, we talk of the subconscious and the unconscious mind, and this unconscious mind actually contains all our desires, dreams, our guilt, and certain experiences which may have been unhappy or where we felt our self-esteem was shaken, so we just sweep it like how you sweep something under the carpet because you're afraid to share it in society. Right. And actually that itself becomes a cause of mental disorders. So one way I think of therapy is literature, any art.
Yeah, that I agree. But see, you have just told us about like how it can be useful for students also, and as a teacher also.
Yes.
For character analysis and all these things. But what about child psychology? What do you think about this these days? What I feel personally,
Yes.
that if we talk English as a subject, children these days have this thing, they don't pay much attention to English.
That's true.
They don't take it as a subject which will take them ahead in life, or which will be very useful for their career. So somehow I am able to understand in their psychology they have this thing that it's not going to be of any use.
Yes.
It's not as important.
Especially the science students, because I have
Yes,
faced
yes.
this problem a lot. They would,
Actually.
spend all their time with their physics and maths and all those things and give, very less importance and weightage to English.
So how can English help them in
Yes.
child psychology, from that perspective of child
from a
psychology? I am
child,
asking.
yeah.
Yes.
What are the advantages we
Yes,
can
yes.
say for literature? See, I feel that they also see everybody needs to de-stress. Right. I'll pick up a very simple, common poem because again, children would have done it. And this channel is mainly we are, addressing the children. So if you talk of William Wordsworth, right? And when he spoke of nature and then he wrote the daffodils. And so where he started and he said, I wander lonely as a cloud over valley and hills. So that was a sign of loneliness. In the same way, a child at times feels very lonely, very left out, very depressed. And then this is a good way that you move out into nature. He's trying to guide you that nature is a teacher.
Absolutely.
Nature, right,
Yes,
is a
yes,
preacher and a teacher for us. So it is a therapy itself. Art, drawing, painting, sculpture, all these are therapies. So are writing poetry, or you must
Creative
have
writing.
yes,
sort of
it's any sort of.
creative
I think you could just sit and pen a poem, or you could even pen an essay. In fact, I think some of the best poetry I've written is when I had my heartbreaks in my childhood.
All right.
Yeah, it just comes spouts. I think
Yes, yes,
that what he
I
calls spontaneous overflow of,
Overflow of
emotions. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So you mean to say that children can learn a lot? They
Yes.
can even
They
learn
can-
some therapeutic ways also to come out of stress.
Yes, of their stress, because they are facing the challenges the parents expect, the teachers expect, their own self expectations.
This is what I tell my students also, that literature prepares you for life.
Exactly.
See, other subjects may prepare you for your career, for your professional life, but literature teaches you a lot about all aspects of life. How you should behave, how you should
Exactly.
conduct yourself. Yes, that's great. Ma'am, I've recently read a book, Everything is Psychology by Deep Trivedi,
Correct.
and it's a bestseller. You
Well,
must
yeah,
be
with the
knowing, yes,
children.
with the
Correct.
children. So, would you like to tell us something about that? How far do you agree with this?
I absolutely agree. In fact, I always tell my children that psychology is like salt. you have to add it to everything to give it taste.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
so the book may have been published now, but this is something I've been telling the children all along. See, it is that subject introduced, which you see the frequency of introducing psychology is increasing over all the schools.
Yes, that
The
is correct.
takers have also increased because if not now, even later, if I went for my BBA, I would have to do one subject in psychology. If I went for my MBA, if I did hotel management, if I went for teaching, even if I went to become a doctor, go on to be a doctor, at some stage you will have to do this one subject of psychology for 6 months or whatever. The basic psychology is required because it is telling you how to deal with others and how to deal with yourself. I think that's what it is.
In teaching, it had always been there. Like when
Yeah.
we do B.Ed, so
You
it's
always,
a compulsory subject,
right,
child
right.
psychology.
Child psychology is compulsory. And best teachers are those who can actually,
Use it.
yes, who can use it, vibrate with the children and catch their needs.
Yes, that is there. Ma'am, what kind of difference do you find in students' approach? See, you are a teacher who were there for years, you know.
Yes.
So you must have seen some kind of change in the approach of students, like the way they used to take their studies and their
Correct.
life earlier and the way they take it now.
Yes.
So what kind of difference do you find?
See, by and large, because I can say my span, of teaching has covered a different era where a lot of change has come, and that is the change which technology has brought. Right? So when I, first began teaching, no one ever thought that, we would have these channels or we would have to do online teaching, right? So the teacher's word was law. And the children came to school regularly because going for tuitions and coaching was also not considered very elite. Right? The intelligent children were those who never went for help and managed on their own. Actually. So I myself don't ever remember taking a tuition as a, as a youngster. So because it was not considered very good and apt, children struggled. So they came regularly, they listened carefully, and they put in their heart and soul to work. Now that options have become available, first the coaching. So there are children who are more interested, maybe they like the teacher, or maybe because, they go because of the social pressure, the peer pressure, and even the thing that, I am taking classes from this teacher, she charges so much. So all these things, have become very important. Status symbol, I would say.
Actually.
So they want to, therefore go for classes. So as a result, they lose interest in school. So either they don't come regularly or they, come but they are not paying attention because they know they'll cover it up later. So getting them to sit and take interest and interact is getting difficult. And of course, with the introduction of online and giving them the phone in their hands,
Actually, yes.
things have changed very drastically.
No, but in this outburst of information, see, these days what I feel that students are very much updated and they have too much of information everywhere.
Yes.
But what is the role of teacher in that way? See, teacher, I don't think that can be replaced by anything or
Yes.
anyone, right?
Absolutely.
So what do you think is the role of teacher in this
scenario? So, ma'am, as you said, we cannot do away with, with the teacher completely because the teacher is a facilitator. I would rather call her a facilitator today.
Right.
She inspires, she develops the interest. See, there is information, but to bring the child to go and select that information, utilize it, what to utilize, how much, and in what way, all that guidance has to come from the teacher. Because along with right, there are some wrong also. Sometimes the information is also quite incorrect.
Of course.
Yes. So I think the teacher is the one who will guide them. She's there, available. So they collect the information. We should encourage research, especially in psychology. We do encourage, that you make your notes on these topics. As it is, they have to do project work and also they work on their own.
We have it in English also.
Yes, we have English also, we have project work. So I always tell them that do you take the help of the, of Google or other websites, but at the same time, do try your own interpretation. Yeah, you should have an open mind.
Now, what I feel in this Google area, Google always tells you what you want to know. isn't it?
Yeah.
Whatever we type in it, so if we want an information on a topic, that is there, but is it right? So it will only tell you, yes, it is right. If you, for the same thing you write, is it wrong? So it will tell you, yes, it is wrong.
So
Isn't it? So they need to use their own interpretation. You are absolutely right in that.
So, you can't blindly follow. Like, it's on a light note. There's a story of this Miss Meadows.
Yeah,
and there is
singing lesson.
Singing lesson, right? And in singing lesson, there is this little letter in which he says, I don't think I'm cut out for marriage, kind of a thing. So that he basically means not responsible enough. But somewhere on Google, these children found that it means he's a gay. So they have been writing this, that Basil is a gay, and that's why he doesn't want to get married.
Right,
So this is so amusing. First, when I got to know, I really laughed. Then I realized, quite a few children have been writing this.
Ma'am,
so
sorry
I realized,
to say, but many teachers were also teaching that.
So that means they're also blindly following the net.
We need to yes. We need to use our interpretation.
Yeah, because responsibility doesn't mean that you are pro some other gender or something. It's not that.
No, it's not.
Because marriage holds responsibilities, agreed. And he was not ready for them.
Yeah, we must not get into extremities, you know.
Yes.
Somehow we need to think, this is where psychology works.
Yes, exactly. This is where psychology works.
Yes.
Because you can I can quite associate Basil's character, because today, people actually don't want to take on responsibilities. When the youngsters are afraid to get married and all, because they want the freedom of life. They don't want anyone questioning them. They don't want anyone keeping tabs on them.
They don't want any kind of conflicts also.
Yes,
they
just want peaceful life without, getting into all the arguments, daily arguments and compromises, because they don't want to compromise.
But they
don't want to adjust.
Yeah, but they also don't understand that these are flavors of life.
Yes.
If you don't have conflicts, if you don't have
it's
anybody,
the mirchi masala.
Disagreements.
The spices.
Yes, these are the spices. Absolutely correct.
That's the thing. So that is what I said. This was an example just came to my mind because it is so funny that, you can give such interpretations.
Right. No, ma'am, this was, I know I have taken too much of time, but yes, to conclude, we would like to have some tips for the students. What would the kind of message that you would like to give to the students these days?
See, the message I would give is that each one is unique, right? We need to find out what I am particularly good at and then follow that. So you need to, as you say, sleep with a dream and get up with a purpose. Well-motivated life of discipline and self-motivation will get you wonders.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. It was really nice meeting you.
Thank you so much. It was really nice.
So this way you saw children. This was Ma'am Annie Singh. You must have learnt a lot about life and how to be successful, And don't worry, on your behalf, I am going to request her to give you some psychology lessons also. And whenever you have any questions, wherever you feel that you are stuck and you need some counseling regarding that, you can always follow our Insta page and you can put your comments there. You can write a message and we will definitely get back to you. Thank you. Bye-bye.